Hello and welcome from the Premanadi Foundation. I'm Pramala, and today I thought we would spend a few minutes to talk about how free will and prayer are interlocked in a way that most people are not aware of, and also to shed some light on how important this mutual link is as it relates directly to opening communication channels to the spiritual world. So Mark, why don't you lead us into it?
Yes, the deep root to this particular subject or discussion starts in that the creation model of our universe is embedded in what the infinite creator calls logos. If you remember at the beginning of John's, the evangelist's chapter in the Bible, it says that in the beginning was the logos, and the logos was with God, and the logos was God. So and so on. So in classical Greek, logos is one of the most complex expressions that the Greeks ever had to deal with, and they were the first ones who had to deal with it because of this revelation about the logos.
But they meant word, right?
No, the Greeks did not understand logos to primarily mean word. The first meaning of logos to the ancient Greeks, and Aristotle in particular, was that it was a philosophical concept, understood to mean a comprehensive, multidimensional philosophy of creation. The meaning of logos, thus, as it has been given to us by the light, means master matrix.
You said master matrix?
Master matrix, correct. You see, logos creates the laws or the master matrix for our galaxy and determines how to express itself by creating that vehicle for it, such as the human body in our case. So this logos is guided by three attributes. When God created the world, he started out with three attributes. We don't have time to deal with all three of them right now, but the first one, and the one that has the most amount of interest, creates the very backdrop to this relevant topic on free will and prayer. So before the universe was created, including the universe and the human race, of course, the conditions for our creation were laid out in the logos.
And so what is this first and most important attribute that the human race would be governed by?
Well, the answer is free will,
Of course.
And the infinite creator, in his very careful modeling of the logos, determined free will to be the most critical condition for existence when applied to what would govern the human race. It was decided that man should actually have the option to decide or make his own choices without interference.
So when we think of free will, we often think of it as an available function in our worldly action. Isn't that so?
That is absolutely so. But when you play cards, for example, I'll give you an example. When you play cards, you have the option to put down any card you wish.
Right.
That is governed by your free will. Reasoning and logic then further guide us or guides you to which is the best card selection from that point on. That is a very good example, but it's probably the least consequential way of describing it.
So in this equation, free will then becomes very important catalyst. In this day and age, when our most pressing issue is communication with the other side, because of the urgency with
the
Ascension,
yes.
The rules for opening this communication must be understood, or communication can't take place, right?
Yes, that is correct. You will not have any communication. Just like when two computers are about to talk to each other, there must be a digital handshake between the two of them before anything can happen, or before anything can proceed at that point. But so what we're saying, that if you want to communicate with spirit beings on the other side, there is a very specific protocol to follow, without which there will be no communication. It's not an issue of you have to have an open mind or you have to want it. The attitude of the spirit in it is very clearly outlined, because no interference will, can, or must happen with the human race unless it has been specifically given permission to do so. Unless permission has been granted to do so, this ethical ground rule, if you will call it, or if you can call it so, says that we humans must first authorize it, and we must allow contact with the light. At the same time, we are also equipped with the relevant activators to make that happen. Okay?
So every human being is fully equipped to start communication.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what Light Streaming Classic has demonstrated.
We both know it.
The amazing thing is that so few people are aware of this.
Yes.
Our spiritual progress is set to gradually move us into the fourth density. Mm-hmm. And then the fifth and the sixth and seventh.
So yeah.
After which a new creation cycle starts for us, details of which we don't have a clue and not available to us right now, right?
We have asked those questions so many times, there is no answer to that. But it is right that what you're saying is right, and herein lies part of the paradox. The paradox is that we live on a planet where ascension is not driven by free will, because its ascension has already been laid out in the Logos. That is the ascension of planet Earth. That has already been laid out. It's going forward. That has been decided.
That's fascinating, because at the same time, we live lives here that are completely driven by free will.
Yes.
There's definitely a dichotomy here.
There definitely is. And our step-by-step long-term, our humanity's long-step or long-term gradual spiritual ascension is a given pathway that we do not have free will control over. We do have free will to slow it down or to speed up the process if we so desire, but ultimately we do not have the free will control over the final destination resulting from the gradual refinement and the increased compression of our vibrational output. That is a really amazing thing. So that clockwork has already been set by the infinite creator in his Logos that we talked about earlier. Those darts have already been thrown, if you will.
So would it be correct to say that our default progress path has been set by the infinite creator and will lead us to the final seventh density at some point in some time, even though it takes millions of years?
It can take millions of years, yes, absolutely.
Where our free will comes in then is that we have the option to slow it down or speed it up. As you mentioned, either way an activation signal is required, and the light emissaries are waiting for our activation signal unless you have already triggered it.
That is,
right?
That is correct. And moreover, and in addition to that, keep in mind that spiritual entities on the other side are precisely that. They are just spiritual entities. They live in a dimension embedded in the light and not in the flesh. So, regardless and this is the comforting part, they always respond to prayer and thoughts.
So, Mark, can you give us an example of what an activating prayer to invite communication with the light could sound like? I mean, everyone can formulate their own, right?
Everyone can formulate their own, yes. But let me first add that everybody can, and they actually should, make their own. Today, mine could sound something like this. I am Mark. I hereby authorize and invite the Supreme Intelligence of the Infinite Creator into my body and mind through the army of helpers under his jurisdiction. I accept this guidance, fully recognizing that my life path shall, from now on, be linked to and be guided by the light.
Wow, that's really to the point, isn't it?
Well, Pramala, the heavens want to know where we stand. We are not dealing with a wishy-washy energy. Once you recite this short invitation, or your own, I just recited for you a little bit ago, and you can adjust it as you see it fit. This effectively gives the light entities the specific authorization to make some changes and to communicate with you. You will very soon notice changes in you because thoughts will creep into your mind little by little, and you'll be able to make adjustments, or adjustments will be made for you without you losing control, because you have the free will at any given time to say yes or no to any suggestion that comes into your mind. And that's the tremendous thing. So once you open that door and you unlock the resistance, the floodgates that you open can really help you have an enormous impact on your life for years to come.
Wow. So to sum it up, I think we can say it starts with us.
Yes.
We have to push that button to start the communication. Nothing of spiritual substance will start unless we first do that.
Yes, that's right.
We both challenge you to do that unless you already have done so.
That is true. So, and that's all from us, I think, at the Pramanati Foundation today. We thank you for watching and hope you will soon check back with us on YouTube for another light streaming insight topic. Always with love.